Why is it that everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but our output and our results can be so different? Why can some people achieve in one day what others can achieve in 1 week? Now, this isn't about to be your typical productivity hacks video. I'm not going to teach you how to be a robot or tell you you need to hustle 12 hours a day. I'm going to teach you a very simple framework that you can use to make sure you're getting the right things done. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter how productive you are if you're productive on the wrong things. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see new entrepreneurs make. They work 12-hour days, they pull all-nighters to get stuff done, but make less progress than people working half the time on the right things. Now, I'm going to presume you're watching this right now because you're in a position that you don't want to be in. You're stuck, maybe stuck in a job, or you're stuck at a revenue level that you just can't seem to break past. And I'm going to presume that you are doing some things to try and break yourself out of that current bubble, the current position that you are in. Okay, but what I'm going to teach you with this framework is how to get out of your old existence and break into a new one by focusing on the right task. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Platten, and I made my first million at 25 years old. I've made many more since. And it is now my mission to help other people achieve affluence in their lives and ultimately unlock peace and freedom that they set out to achieve from starting their business in the first place. Because let's be real, we don't start a company to be a slave to that business for the rest of our life. We're in a world that glamorizes hustle culture and spending all your days working. The truth is, I started a company so I could make so much cash that I never have to worry about cash again. So I can have true freedom in my life. And maybe you want to achieve the same. And I hope I can help you achieve that. So, what's the framework for making sure we're focused on the right things and we're actually progressing every single day and we're achieving in one day what others can achieve or in 1 week, okay? First, we have track, identify, we have leverage, and we have systemize. Like iPad, this is the TILS framework, and we're gonna start off with track. What we're actually looking to do is track all the data. Because the truth is, business doesn't care about your emotion, business only cares about data. And most people try and run a company and spend their days running the business by the gut. What feels right? This feels right. Let me just focus on that. That made me happy. I was quite satisfied on that. Let me just focus time now. No, I didn't really enjoy working on that task. Cold calling's pretty hard. I'm not going to spend my time there again. Okay? Or they're just blindly following what other people are doing. And when you run a business by emotion, you are fundamentally running a business against what the business wants to be run by. A business wants to be ran by mathematics. A business wants to be ran by data. Every single company is an accumulation, is an algorithm of data. And when we understand those numbers and we understand how to manipulate them and mold them, we can literally craft whatever business we want to craft. So we have to get a deep understanding of our numbers, of our data. One of the most valuable resources that any business can have is a KPI pyramid. Okay? And this is usually broken down in 3 or sometimes even 4 different subsections. So let's say we are working out in the gym, okay? And our goal is getting bigger, building muscle. What are the main North Star metrics that we should be looking at? Well, it's gonna be our weight, it's gonna be our strength, and it's gonna be our visual, how we actually look. So are we gaining weight? Are we gaining strength? Are we looking better? Those are the 3 main considerables when we're working out. Those are our North Star metrics. But what are the things that actually impact this? Well, it's going to be our compound lifts. Okay, so our squats, bench press, military press, deadlifts. And so that might be deadlifts, military press, chest press. You get the idea. Now, what's going to come underneath that? It's going to be bicep curls. It's going to be our smaller individual. It's going to be tricep dips. It's going to be cardio. And these are the least important metrics that are impacting those ones above us. Now, of course, there are many other metrics when it comes to bodybuilding and gaining muscle. But I want to give you a quick example and quick reference today. But the key is we have to get an understanding of all of the potential metrics that there are that influence those main North Star metrics of the thing that we're trying to achieve. You might be trying to grow your business right now, and you might be spending your time on email outreach in order to get new clients over the line and secure meetings so you have sales opportunity. We would simply write down all of the North Star metrics that relate to email, for example, total emails per customer. OAC, I call this, outreaches to acquire a customer. How many total emails are we sending to actually get a customer? Now, if we're tracking that as our North Star metric, what are all the things that would influence that? It's going to be our open rates. It's going to be how many emails we're sending per day. It's going to be the response rate, okay, the positive response rate. There are many metrics that we can track. Write a list of all those things based on what you're trying to achieve right now and start tracking them. Start tracking every single day or every single time that you are actually taking part in that individual activity. We keep a list of those on a database. Once we have that KPI pyramid, and once we start tracking all of the data, and we do this across every stage of the business, we are then going to move on to step 2, which is identify. And more specifically, we're going to identify leverage points. So what is a leverage point, you might ask? A leverage point, so if you imagine this to be a leverage point, is an area of the business, it's one of your metrics, which requires the minimal attention, which demands minimal energy and time expense, but has maximum impact on system behavior. So we want to look through our KPIs, look through our data points, and establish where the smallest amount of time and energy we could expend will get us the maximum result on the system behavior, on whatever it is we're trying to achieve. And you can apply this to absolutely everything in life. So we might identify in bodybuilding that we're not gaining weight, we're not gaining strength, we're not looking better. And so what we have to do is work our way down this KPI pyramid. We have to, through order of elimination, establish which of these metric points is the one that's holding us back. So that'll look something like this. We're not happy with our strength gains. We're not happy with our weight gains. We're not happy with our visual. Well, let's work our way down the KPI pyramid and establish what it could be. What's our chest press like? What are our deadlifts like? What are our squats like? Well, if we look at the data, chest press is fine. We're improving every week. Deadlifts are fine. We're improving every week. But our squats, I haven't lifted any higher weights in 2 weeks. Haven't been able to put more plates on the bar. So now we know that our problem is squats. And we don't need to expend any of our energy focusing too much on changing anything else inside of these KPI pyramid. And so what happens is after we focus our time on improving the squat on the one data point, it's then going to have a positive impact on every other data point that it touches above it. We move on to the next stage, which is leverage. And what we're actually doing is we're going to leverage a proven strategy, because there are 2 paths that we can take when we're trying to improve one individual metric inside the business. If we say this is your current position and this is your desired position, we can go out and we can figure it out by ourselves through trial and error. And that path isn't going to be simple. It's not going to be a straight line. It's going to go good. It's going to be bad. We're going to have good days, bad days. We're going to make mistakes. We might even regress at some point. Or we can quite simply learn from somebody else and apply a strategy that they have used to improve that specific thing. And so we do our research. How can I improve my squat technique? And we watch videos. We record ourselves squatting. I can see I'm curving my back. My form isn't right. I'm meant to be putting up the weight by 5% every week. Learn from somebody that's already done the thing that you want to do. And it's always shocking to me in business how so many people don't do this. Many people will waste weeks, if not months, trying to figure out things by themselves. And that is counterintuitive. If you have financial means to invest in yourself, to pay someone else who's already got a system that you can use and leverage, to expedite the time that it takes in order for you to achieve the result you're trying to achieve, money should always be exchanged for that time. And you don't even have to exchange money. Videos like this, videos on my channel, I have countless videos on my channel teaching all areas of client acquisition for the agency business model specifically, which is the simplest business model on the planet. It's a service-based business, person A going to person B, offering a service to add value to their life. It doesn't get more simple than that. So if you haven't started yet, feel free to check out my channel and see if that resonates with you. But there are so many channels like mine that offer free value on YouTube in order to help people grow their business and expand, okay? And so always look to seek if you can find the advice for free, but only apply knowledge that you've found through someone who's actually practicing what they're preaching. The world is full of posers and imitators. A proven strategy is only a proven strategy if it's actually been proven by someone who's applied it. A proven strategy is not proven if the person who's teaching it isn't actually practicing that thing. That should be obvious, but we have to get good at identifying imitators and understanding when knowledge is actually worth implementing. So do your due diligence, do your research, vet the people that you're learning from, and pick wisely. So we're going to leverage a proven strategy from somebody else who's already been there and done it, so we can expedite that learning curve. And then we're going to systemize through either automation or delegation. One of these two things. So now in the instance of automation, how do we automate the new squat technique that we've learned? Well, we simply just add it to our weekly workout schedule. And we start applying it every single session. We add it to our schedule, we forget about it, and we move on. If we're automating a new system that we've implemented in the business, well, we can use software, we can use AI. These are the main ways that we can automate. The next option we have is to delegate. Some things cannot be automated, and so we need to delegate them. Now, delegation is the act of simply handing off a task to somebody else. But before we can do that, we need to document the process. And so we can do that through creating something called an SOP, a standard operating procedure. An SOP is a document which outlines a step-by-step on how to achieve a certain task. It means that you can control the variables and make sure that when this task is completed by somebody else and you hand it off to them, it's going to be completed to the same standard as if you were to complete it yourself. Okay, if you fail to document the process, don't be surprised when the person you give it to doesn't live up to the same quality and standards as you. So we're going to delegate to a team member that we already have who is suitable for this task, or we can hire somebody else in the company who we can hand this off to, hence freeing up our time. The key when using the TILS process is we are trying to identify a problem within the business. We're trying to solve that problem as quickly as possible, and then we want to get rid of it. Because the final step after systemize is repeat. We repeat the process again and again, every single day, on whatever we are trying to achieve in the business at any one time. So if you're focused on client acquisition, your number one goal is to try and get clients, which it should be for any of you guys that are not at your revenue level yet, that aren't at 10K a month. If you're pre 10K a month in any business, your number one task needs to be client acquisition. Yes, sure, you need to spend time on fulfilling your clients and delivering the service that you've promised them that you're going to deliver. The rest of your time should be spent on client acquisition. And so all we need to do through whatever client acquisition strategy we have chosen is track the data, identify the leverage point, leverage a proven strategy to improve that point, systemize it through automation or delegation, and then repeat the process again and again. And so that we go from this state where most people are, because this is the position most people find themselves in. And maybe even you watching this right now, you'll think, well, this is me right now. They spend their time working on many different things at once, trying to achieve multiple things. Let's say it's client acquisition. They might be doing email, they might be cold calling, might be sending DMs, might even be doing door-to-door at the same time. And they're wondering why they're not making much progress with all of these things. No matter how many hours I work, I just can't make progress. I can't sign up clients. None of this is working. It's because they're spread too thin. What they actually need to do is identify which of these areas, which of these systems is actually working and getting them the micro results. Even if you're not signing clients, what's giving you the most meetings? Even if you're not getting meetings, what's getting you the most positive responses? And then what we do through orders of elimination is we identify which of those areas is working the most. Maybe that's DMs. We stop focusing our time here. We stop focusing our time here. And then we use the TILS framework to maximize our output and our results in DMs. We track the data in DMs, we identify leverage points, we leverage a proven strategy, and then we systemize it. And we do that until this system is generating us as much cash as we want to be generating, is getting us an infinite amount of clients, and is maxed out. Because the truth is, if we're talking client acquisition, every system has a limit, has a max. There's only so many people that we can reach out to. We want to max out on that one system before we then come and revisit something else. And once we have maxed out on that system, then maybe we can revisit the second that worked the most. And we implement TILS, and again, we maximize through repeating the process until all of our metrics are within KPI. This is the key to achieve what you want to achieve, what you set out to achieve when you first decided you were going to jump into the entrepreneurship world. And most importantly, to get rid of the overwhelm, because there's so much noise in your life, because you are trying to do too many things at once. So stop trying to do everything at once. Do less, more productively, hone in on the data, and maximize your results. So this is the key to being successful in business. This is the key to achieving your goals. This is the system that I used to make my first million at 25 years old and achieve more in 1 month than other people do in years. You have to get rid of all of the noise, get rid of all of the overwhelm in your brain. When was the last time that you finished the end of the day and you actually felt like you had clarity? Or do you spend most of your days overwhelmed with how much work you've got to do? Wouldn't it be great to get rid of most of the stuff you're working on and just focus on 1 or 2 key tasks within the business at any one time? That's the power of the TILT framework. So that's it. And remember, to be affluent is a choice.